OK， 这个 slide 呢会 show 你整个 thin film interference 形成它的 dark and bright fringes 的一个过程。OK，as you remember 你的 thin film interference 的话呢，你会有一个 thin object， 会有两个 glass slide。OK，so 的光你会有光呢 coming from top，OK，from your light source。So there are several scenarios in which 你的 light would travel 啦。In the first scenario， 这个光呢会遇到 hit 的这个first glass slide，OK，and then it get reflected. So what you notice here is that there is no phase change during this process. OK， 这是因为我们在这边你是从玻璃从 glass 去到空气 ，that is from denser to less dense. So when light is reflected at an interface of denser to less dense, there is no phase change for the reflected light. In the second scenario, your light actually goes through the first glass slide and hit the second glass slide, then only it get reflected. But then note that in this case, because it is reflected from, it's traveling from somewhere that's less dense to denser and get reflected, there is a phase change. OK， 我们之前讲所谓的 phase change， 就是你的光在 reflected 的时候呢，它有一个180度一个派的 difference。Okay，so on the left hand side, what you are seeing 就是 incident 跟 reflected ray. Okay，but we will only see now the reflected rays only. Okay，so as a matter of fact, so you would have two reflected rays. Okay， 第一个是 coming from 你的这一个 coming from 你的 bottom slide, another one coming from the top slide. Okay，so in this case, because 你的these two different light rays are out of phase, you can see that out 的跟 to 的完全遇在一起，就是有一个 phase difference of pi， 那么它们就会 interfere destructively. Okay，or in other scenarios, in other area, 在一个不同的 spot 的时候，在一个可能比较远的这个地方 ，OK， 你的 reflected ray from 你的 bottom slide 跟你的 top slide， OK 是 totally in phase. So when they are totally in phase, then they will interfere constructively and then form a bright fringe. Okay. And what I would also like to bring to attention here is the thickness of the air. Okay. So here, if we actually look at the thickness of the air here， 就是说你这两个玻璃之间的，在不同的地方，它当然会有不一样的 thickness。OK，so 如果在这个光你的这个 go through 这个红光，在比起紫光来讲，它有一个 path difference。如果在这个情况，我们注意到，当它的 path difference 是一个odd number 乘 multiple 乘 half length wavelength 的时候，它就会 form 一个 bright fringe。OK， 所以你看这边 4.5 lambda 就是9个 half wavelength。OK， 然后这边如果是双数的时候，它就会 interfere destructively 就有 dark fringe。OK，so 如果你 go through 这个 sequence will be repeated throughout 你整个 slide。OK， 所以你就会有 OK 就会有这边有 4.5 4个，这边是 3.5 个 wavelength bright fringe， 然后过后是2个 wavelength no dark fringe。OK，so 这边你就会看到黑白的这个 fringes。OK，and we'll see clearer here。OK，so this Y is a fringe separation. Okay，it's basically the distance between two consecutive dark fringe or two consecutive bright fringe. Okay, so what you would notice here is when there is a okay， 如果你是 half wavelength 遇到你的这个odd number 的时候，它就会给你 bright fringe。如果遇到的是一个 full wavelength 的 phase， 如果你的 path difference represent 一个 full wavelength 的话，那么它就会是一个dark fringe。Okay， so this is the same throughout. Okay，so with that we can generally say that. Okay， 所以当你的 dark fringe is when 你的这个 2t the path difference for the two reflected lights 是等于 n lambda 的时候，它就形成这个 dark fringe。OK， 那如果 bright fringe is when 你的 2t equals to n plus half of 你的 wavelength。OK， 所以在这个情况之下，你就会拿到一个 bright fringe。OK，so I hope that would help you to understand how thin film interference work.